Hello everyone, welcome to Amrita's monthly current affairs series, and we're starting with the July month second part of environment and ecology. So the first one is Decarbonizing Transport in India project. So basically it was in the news because Niti Aayog along with the International Transport Forum have launched this Decarbonizing Transport project in India. The idea obviously that this greenhouse gas that has been produced by our transportation, for example, these buses, these cars, everything, railways, airways, that can lead to the trajectory of the low carbon trajectory, right? So the low carbon mobility, that is the point. Okay, so they have to design a tailor-made transport emission framework for Indian conditions, keeping in mind the Indians' limitation, the limitation of Indian policy making, the limitation of finance and everything, right? So it begs two questions. So basically it is a part of the larger, that is Decarbonizing Transport in Emerging Economy, DEEE project. Okay, Decarbonizing Transport in Emerging Economies project. Okay, so discussing this, that is International Transport Forum. It's an international organization that works within the OECD. So basically we are cooperating with this International Transport Forum, which is working with this DTEE. Okay, right. So it's a only global body with the mandate for the all modes of transportation. It acts as a think tank for the policy issues, and this global summit did happen. And India has been a member of the ITF from 2008. Though India is not a member of this OECD. Remember, India is not a member of OECD, but India is a member of this ITF. Next is overall under which project it is working. It is working under the overall project of the DTI, that is Decarbonizing Transport Initiative, within which we have this DTEEE, and within which this is India's initiative, that is Niti Aayog working with the International Transport Forum. Okay, so this is Decarbonizing Transport Initiative was launched in 2016 with the funding from ITF and other partners such as World Bank, European Union, European Commission and all. Obviously, as we discussed, the idea is to move towards this carbon neutral mobility to stop the climate change. So efforts being taken from all over the I should say arena to discuss this, whether it be Kigali agreement, whether it be the transportation thing, whether it be the Paris climate agreement, right? Everyone is working towards to limit this greenhouse gas emission, to stop this, to stop or to do the adaptation and the mitigation work for the climate change. All these are called the mitigation methods. These will not be the adaptation method. These will be the mitigation methods. We have discussed adaptation and mitigation in detail last time. So under it, the which project is there? In the emerging economies, that is DTEEE. So Decarbonization Transport in the Emerging Economy project. It has the national government and other stakeholders to identify the transport measures and establish pathways to reduce the CO2 emissions. Then the participants in this emerging economy, the India, Argentina, Azerbaijan and Morocco are there. So nothing, these things are not important. Okay, just remember DTI under is DTEE, under which India's Niti Aayog and this International Transport Forum, all these are cooperating for this Decarbonizing Transport Initiative. Next is Cooling Emissions and the Policy Synthesis report. So this report is being produced by this United Nations Environment Program and International Energy Agency. They have released this report on the idea of cooling systems and policy synthesis report. So they are in the context of the Montreal Protocol and the Kigali Agreement that has come to it. We have discussed about Montreal Protocol to the Vienna Convention, right? This ODS, that is ozone depleting substance, we have to reduce. Then Kigali Agreement has said now we have to reduce this HFCs as well, hydrofluorocarbons. Okay, so as per the agreements, countries are expected. So Kigali Agreement not important. What are the different three criterias are there? Three types of country are being there: developed countries, developing countries, and within developing there are two types of country. India is in the third bracket, China is in the second bracket, US obviously in the first bracket, to reduce these things on a legally binding basis. Okay, so what is important here? Which of the institutions have released this particular report? Then we have the two conventions we need to keep in mind, that is, these are old convention, that is Marpol Convention and second is London Convention. Both of these conventions were are to reduce the pollutions from the ships. Okay, so it's a main international convention that aim to reduce the prevention of the pollutions from the ships caused by the operational or accidental causes, adopted in 1973. But actually they remain in the news. We will discuss why. Because, for example, because of this invasive alien species, because of the concern on the biodiversity, they always remain in the news. What are the efforts we have taken so as to reduce the damages because of the international shipping? Now, we cannot stop this international shipping. They are the very backbone of the international trade, right? So we have to adopt the new methods, or we have to sign some legally binding agreements or convention or norms so as to reduce the damages are being caused because of this international shipping. Okay. So London Convention, the second convention on the prevention of the marine pollution by dumping of the waste and other material. They are also called the LC72 or London Convention, and it is also under the International Maritime Organization, IMO. So for example, you see here in the March also they have discussed steps taken for prevention and control of the pollutions from the ship. This is from the PIB. Okay, so they have made a portal such as Swachh Sagar, and they put this Marpol Convention and the London Convention in the PIB, and that is why we have to discuss it. Next is CogX Award. So what is this award? This award is being given to the My Government Corona Help Desk. If you have seen, there is a Telegram channel also of this My Government Corona Help Desk, and also some other channels are being made where the two-way communication can be done. So the idea of the participatory governance, participatory democracy, these things are there. So CogX is basically an award that is being given at the Global Leadership Summit. Okay, and this has been given to this My Corona Help Desk, and that is why it is in the news. So India's AI enabled My Corona Help Desk bagged 2 awards at the Global Leadership Summit. Next is in one of the villages of the Kerala, they have found more than 200 varieties of mango, and they have declared it as the Indigenous Mango Heritage Area, which is in the Kunnur town in the Kerala, right? Okay, so this is what you need to remember. Very good place in Kerala, right? 200 varieties of mango. Next is Global Environment Facility. Now GEF we have discussed while in the UNFCCC lesson. I think in the May month second part we have discussed about this that one of the funding mechanisms for this climate change and other convention. You will see that is Global Environment Facility. It is managed by the World Bank. So it's a financial mechanism that established under the 1992 Rio Summit to tackle the most pressing environmental problems. So we'll see a lot of conventions get the funding from this GEF. So it involves the international partnership of the countries, 183 countries, not only the governments, but also the civil society, international institutions, the private sector as well. Okay, so it's a partnership of not only the governments, but also the other important non-state actors that you need to remember. So just like we have discussed WHO, so there is an assembly, there is an executive authority, there is a big assembly such as UNGA and secretariat. Similarly, they have a governing body which have 32 members. Then they have a GEF assembly which have 183 members. So that's not an important thing. This thing you need to keep in mind. Which are the conventions which are under the GEF financial mechanisms? So Convention on Biodiversity, UNCCD, United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification, UNFCCC, Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, Minamata Convention, right? Minamata Convention is for Minamata disease is related to the mercury poisoning, right? Then Montreal Protocol, it provides support to the Montreal Protocols as well. So this is GEF. Next is virtual water trade. So one of the report has came out and they have said, they have talked about this virtual water trade that is happening. Actually in economic survey way back, I think 2016, in the chapter that is agriculture more from less, they have talked about that India is the largest, India is a net water exporter. For example, what does this mean? This means that the water which is being used to create the crops such as rice, wheat, on all this, the crops, the things that we are exporting, these exporting things take a lot of water in their preparation. And when a lot of preparation goes into the preparation of it, and when we export that, when we do the exporting of that, we are ultimately exporting the precious resource that is the water corresponding to it as well. You're getting my point? So let us see. So what is virtual water trade? It refers to the import and export of the hidden water that is given in the forms of the products such as crop products, textile, machinery, livestock, all of which require water for their protection. So all these require water, right? So when they require water, and if we are exporting that content, so we are ultimately exporting the water as well. Hence, we have to improve our export basket. We need to improve our export basket. We have to improve our cropping pattern, right? We need to export the commodities which are premium. For example, even if we are exporting this, then we need to export the premium product so that we can fetch the premium price out of it. So, according to the World Footprint Network, India has the lowest virtual imports of water in the world. Okay. So, rice is the highest exported food product with the virtual water, followed by buffalo meat and maize. So, it is the rice which takes a lot of water, and when rice is exported, then it means that we are exporting a lot of water, right? So, this is Water Footprint Network has come up with this particular report. Next is high level of ammonia in the Yamuna river. So it is being found, and water supply took a pause somewhere in Delhi. So you need to know what is the permissible limit. According to BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, only 0.5 ppm is the limit, and they have found around 3 ppm of the limit in the waters of Yamuna. Okay. So ammonia is a colorless that is being used in plastic, synthetic fiber. Because of a lot of industry, I think it is got up in the surface water of Yamuna, right? So because of ammonia, a lot of problems actually happen, right? So it increases the biochemical oxygen demand of the water, that reduces the oxygen availability in the water, because of which the species that are dependent upon the dissolved oxygen in the water, they face a lot of problems, right? So it is toxic to the fishes when the concentration of this ammonia increases a lot. Okay, and other problems are also there with respect to ammonia. So that's the end of the session, everyone. Let us discuss a few questions. Some good questions are there. So the first question is, consider the following statements. Odisha is the only state having all species of the crocodile. Having all species of the crocodile, that is gharial, magar crocodile and saltwater crocodile. Next is gharial is a fish-eating crocodile and listed as a critically endangered under the IUCN Red List data. Saltwater crocodile is found throughout the west coast of India. Okay. Next is magar or the marsh crocodile, listed as an endangered is IUCN's red data list. So you need to know about all the three crocodiles, and we'll provide information for all the three ones, even if you don't know the answer. Try to answer this question. Try to eliminate a few of them. Right. Let us see one by one. So first of all, you need to remember that Odisha is the only state which has population of all the three species, such as gharial, magar and saltwater crocodile. If we start with the gharial, so gharial first of all is critically endangered. Okay, gharial is critically endangered. It is present in the Odisha, you can see in the Mahanadi river, in Satkoshia gorge of the Mahanadi river. It is the southernmost limit of the gharial home range in India. We have discussed in the Chambal range they are being found, right? In the Chambal range, in some of these rivers, they are being found. Okay. So from the from the map itself, you can see. So Chambal area, remember, Mahanadi area, remember, and critically endangered, you remember. And remember, these are the fish-eating crocodiles, gharial. Second is the salt water crocodile. So you see the location. It is also again in the Odisha, and you can see Southeast Asia and upper part of the Australia is also there. They are the least concerned, that or salt water crocodile. From the name itself, you can remember these are salt water. Salt water is present in the oceans, and that is why they are least concerned. Then we have the third one, that is the magar crocodile. In the magar crocodile, you can find in this Indian subcontinent, they are vulnerable. So it is in the news because Gujarat relocated this magar crocodile from Sardar Sarovar Dam to a facility, a seaplane at the to facilitate a seaplane service at the Statue of Unity. So those were in this Sardar Sarovar Dam, so they have to be relocated. They are extinct in the countries such as Burma, even in Bangladesh, they are possibly extinct in Bangladesh. Bhutan, they are almost extinct. And in India, they are present as a vulnerable. Vadodara is the only city in India where the crocodiles lives in their natural habitat amongst these human population. Okay, so all the three crocodile we have read. So in that regard, what will be the answer? Option 1, Odisha is the only state. Yes. Gharial is the fish-eating crocodile, critically endangered. Yes. Saltwater crocodile is found throughout the western coast of India. We have seen no, it is not the case. It is not found in the western coast. In fact, it is found in the eastern coast as well as in the Southeast Asia. Then magar are the marsh crocodile listed as endangered. Magar are not endangered. They are vulnerable. They are possibly extinct in Bhutan and Bangladesh and in Myanmar, but in India they are vulnerable. You can remember the city name Vadodara as well. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is a freshwater lake? Koleru Lake, Deepor, Beel, Pangong and Wular Lake. Which of the following are the freshwater lakes in India? Okay, try to answer this question. Right. So let us see. I have not put the locations in because we have discussed majority of the locations. So Pangong Lake we have discussed a lot. It is a saltwater lake. Just keep in mind it's a saltwater lake, though it is at such a height, but it is a saltwater lake. Okay, during the winter the lake freezes completely despite being a saline water, and that is why if they don't ask something related to the China clash or the location wise, they can ask something related to the Pangong Lake, its characteristics itself. Okay, so Pangong Lake is a saltwater lake, keep that in mind. Then the Wular Lake, it is the largest freshwater lake in India and situated in the Jammu and Kashmir near the Srinagar, I think. Then we have the Koleru Lake, which is in the Andhra Pradesh. It is one of the largest freshwater lake again. Then Deepor Bill is also the Ramsar site. It is in the Guwahati, right? Okay, so remember Pangso Lake is a saltwater lake, and then Wular Lake, Koleru and Deepor Bill are the freshwater lakes in India. So answer is 1, 2 and 4. Third one is not. Next question is, which of the following statements are correct about the lead? It is naturally occurring element found in small amounts in the earth's crust. It is silvery with a hint of blue when the freshly cut, and it tarnishes to a dull grey color when exposed to air. It is a potent neurotoxin that causes irreparable harm to the children's brain. Which of the following statements are right? Lead is important because it is also in the news. When the reports of UNICEF, when the reports of WHO has come on the lead poisoning and the adverse impact of the lead as well. Try to answer this question. You can pause the video and try to answer this. Right, let us see. So, recently, as I've said, that a report of the UNICEF has come. UNICEF report has come, and along with the non-profit organization that is Pure Earth, the toxic truth, children's exposure to the lead pollution. So they talked about that lead poisoning is affecting children on a massive and a previously unknown scale. They have said that it is above the 5 microgram per deciliter, right? Above that it is available. 1 in 3 children. So almost 33% children are being exposed to this quantity, which should not be there. Hence the action is required. And nearly 50% in the Southeast Asia are exposed to this. So lead is a naturally occurring element found in small amount in the earth crust. Yes, it is toxic to the human health and animal health. It's a heavy metal that is denser than most material. It's a soft, malleable, relatively low melting point. These things you have to just cram it out. It's a freshly cut, it's silvery with a hint of blue. It tarnishes to the dull grey color when exposed to the air. And lead poisoning report, as I told you, the report of this WHO and organization that is WHO and UNEP have jointly launched this global alliance to eliminate the lead paint as well. So the goal to prevent the children's exposure to minimize the occupational exposure to the lead paint. Okay. In India also, MOFCC has prohibited this use of lead in this household and the decorative paints. Okay. You have seen the lead free. Now it is coming that lead free paints are there. Right? And the impact in the children, they're the most vulnerable. The nervous system is impacted. In the adults also, so stroke and heart disease, the problems. In the pregnant women, the problems can be caused by the lead as well. There is no safe level. You can see there is no safe level of the lead exposure. So that's a big issue. So all the options are right. So it is present in a very small quantity in the earth crust. Second, it's a silvery with a hint of the blue when freshly cut, and tarnishes to a dull grey color when exposed to the air. And third, it's a potent neurotoxin that causes irreparable damage to the children's health. Let us see the next question. With reference to the Tri-Food project, which of the following statements is correct? It aims to enhance the income of the tribals through better utilization of the value addition to the minor forest produce. Next, it is implemented by the Ministry of Food Processing. Which of the following statement is right? Now, with respect to tribal, I think we have discussed Swasth portal as well. Now, tribal say we have discussed a lot of initiatives and things. Okay, so Tri-Food project is basically an initiative. Just one second. It's an initiative of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in association with the Ministry of Food Processing. So the idea of the Tri-Food project is to enhance basically the incomes of the tribal through the value addition to the minor forest produce. If you remember in the governance session, we have discussed about this minor forest produce and the MSP on this minor forest produce. Some of the minor forest produce MSP is available to the northeast only, and some of available are at the whole all India level. Okay, it's been implemented by this TriFed. So it's an initiative of this ministry, but it is implemented by the TriFed. So you see from here, it is not implemented by the Ministry of Food Processing, it is implemented by the TriFed. But however, UPSC will not ask such questions. These are very vaguely worded questions, but they will, if the options will be there, this ministry will be completely different. For example, Ministry of Farmers and something like that. Okay, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, ministry can be very different. So that though you don't get confused in these questions, they can be very sure, short, easy questions. Okay, so first option is right. The last question, consider the following statement regarding the Alliance to End the Plastic Waste. It's an international non-profit organization established in May 1912 at the Earth Summit. Second, the Alliance focuses the solution in the 4 strategic area of infrastructure, innovation, education, and engagement and the cleanup. Which of the following statements is right? Alliance to End the Plastic Waste. Right. So, from the name itself, Alliance to End the Plastic Waste. Do you think that was a concern at the time of 1992? That is the common sense we have to apply. Do you think that at the time of the Rio Summit, it was a concern to end the plastic waste? This plastic waste minac, or you can say this concerns for the plastic waste, has come in the first decade of the 21st century, and more prominently at the government level in the 2nd century, in 2016 plus, after 2016 plus. But at the NGO level, it has started again, obviously. So, for example, you can see this alliance has established in 2019 as a non-profit organization in the news because Alliance to End Plastic Waste has planned to invest around $70 million to $100 million in India over the next 5 years to reduce the plastic waste. This is in the alignment with the India's Prime Minister call to end this plastic waste on the line of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So as we've discussed, it's a non-profit, it's a non-profit organization. It works with the government, environmental and economic development, NGOs and communities. It has 50 members and it is working with on the project Aviral, which aims to reduce the plastic waste in the Ganga river. So remember, project Aviral being discussed or being taken up by the Alliance to End the Plastic Waste on the Ganga river. So the answer is second part only, first part is wrong. It is not done in the 1992. And second part, you can see it's very generic statement. It ought to be right. So that's the end of the session, everyone. Let us quickly see what we have discussed today. So Decarbonizing Transport in India project, that is Niti Aayog. Then we have discussed this project is a part of the DTI, that is Decarbonization Transport Initiative led by International Transport Forum. Then under which DTEE project is there, that is the same project in the emerging economies, and then within that Indian chapter you can see. Okay, so this is hierarchy wise, that is how you should prepare. Next is cooling emissions and the policy synthesis report, that is being published by UNEP and IEA, that is International Energy Agency, and it talks in the context of the Kigali Agreement, that how Kigali Agreement, if we complete or our obligations to the Kigali Agreement, how can it lead to a safer future. Then Marpol Convention and the London Convention we have seen, that is reducing the waste coming from the sea. Then CogX Award and Indigenous Mango Heritage Area, it is in Kerala. CogX Award given to the My Corona Help Desk in the times of the Corona. Then Global Environment Facility we have seen, it is being managed by the World Bank. International partnerships of 183 countries. Then virtual water trade is there. We have discussed that what is virtual water trade. They can ask a conceptual question on it. Okay, so be prepared on such topics as well. Don't neglect such topics, because such concept based questions are being also asked in the prelims. Then the high level of ammonia we have discussed in the Yamuna river, it is being found. So the highest level is ought to be 3 ppm, and now they are seeing highest level that is allowed 0.5 ppm, and 3 ppm is being registered in Yamuna. Then we have discussed some questions. Then Odisha, three species of crocodile: magar crocodile, gharial crocodile, and saltwater crocodile. Then we have discussed these freshwater lakes: Koleru Lake, Deepor Beel. So just to revise, gharial is a critically endangered, saltwater is the least concern, and your magar crocodile is vulnerable, extinct in the Bangladesh, Myanmar, and all other places. Then we discussed these freshwater lakes. So Koleru, Deepor Beel, that is in Assam; Koleru, that is Andhra Pradesh; and Vular, that is Jammu and Kashmir. Pangong Lake is in saltwater lake in the Jammu and Kashmir, in the Ladakh area now, Ladakh Union Territory. Then lead, we have discussed one of the reports of the UNICEF is also came. Then WHO and WHO has also come up with the institutions to work on this lead poisoning, especially from the paints. Then the question on tri-food project that we have discussed, implemented by the TriFed, and the idea is to enhance the value addition to this tribal minus forest produce. Then finally, Alliance to End the Plastic Waste we have discussed, that was not initiated in the Rio time but recently in 2019 only. So that's the end of the session, everyone. We are done with the environment and ecology of the 14-month, right? And we'll try to finish the remaining sessions very quickly. Only two to three sessions are left out. So see you in the next class, everyone. Bye bye for now. Thank you.